Do you ever set goals and then forget all about them? Life is so full and busy that it's hard to stay focused, even if it's something you really want. Today, we're going to dive deep into keeping your important goals on the front burner of your mind, so forgetting about them is just not an option. Hello, my friend. You are listening to Weight Loss Made Real, and this is episode 263. I'm your host, master weight loss coach and author, Cookie Rosenblum. Today and every Tuesday, I am your coach and your guide to help you stop overeating so that you could enjoy permanent weight loss and freedom from the whole struggle. If you just found me, welcome. And if you're a regular listener, welcome back. Are you a smart, busy woman who leads a pretty good life but are baffled about why you just can't stop overeating? If the answer is yes, you've come to the right place. This is where coaching meets psychology and psychology meets brain science. This is where your overeating ends and freedom begins. Welcome to your coaching session for today. This whole month of February has been all about how to eat. Remember, the Freedom Group is divided into a program that has 3 parts: Eat, Think, and Love. So this is the final session about how to eat. And next month, we're going to begin our coaching sessions and cover the topic of how to think, how a natural eater thinks. Today, I'm going to give you a worksheet and a lesson. I'm going to talk you through it right here in this coaching session. And when I'm done, if forgetting all about your goals is something that you struggle with, you can get the worksheet to download and print and be able to use on your own. You'll find the link to get the worksheet in the show notes, and I'll give it to you at the end of your session. All right, let's go. Here's the problem we're going to work on and solve together today. You set goals, and then very quickly you forget all about them. You get distracted. You forget what you were working on. You lose your focus. So time passes, and nothing really changes except maybe how you now feel about yourself for not being able to do what you said you were going to do, right? And we, of course, are talking about goals to stop overeating. Now, remember in the past, we've talked about how to do projects that lead you to achieve your goals, and what it's like to work on a big project, a project with lots of moving parts, just like your goal of ending your overeating. It has different parts and different small goals that all add up. So you don't just wonder what to do each day, and you don't hopefully put 200 sticky notes all over your house. With big, complicated goals, you plan for what you want. You make lists. You might put some things from the lists into your calendar. And then you hopefully find a way to remember to look at your calendar and follow through on what you planned. Not only do you need to make a simple plan, but you need to make a plan to keep those goals in front of you, in the front of your mind, on your front burner. That's what I like to call it. Think about things you've done before that were multifaceted projects, like planning a wedding, which I just did this past summer, raising a child, building a house, starting a business. You would not sit back and just wait for things to happen and wake up and see what you're in the mood to do. You'd make those plans, right? You'd set those deadlines, and somehow you'd set up reminders. Stopping your overeating and losing weight is just like any other big project. It requires thinking ahead and having a vision. And you are here working on Project You. This project is so important because it's going to move you closer to what you want, right? Freedom from the struggle. Stopping overeating is your first step because you can't lose weight until you stop overeating. and weight loss will ultimately follow with a lot more ease if you stop overeating. So that is where your focus needs to go. You want to focus on your end game, on exactly what you want. Today, we're going to work on helping it all happen right here. But one problem that many of my Freedom Group members run into is this. They set a goal, they map out all their action steps that they'll have to take, and poof, they forget all about it. The craziness of life seems to take over. You get busy. You get phone calls and emails and texts and all kinds of urgent requests from all the people in your life. So what do? You disconnect from the big picture of what you want, and you put your focus on what's calling for your immediate attention. And you don't do any of the things that are needed to take your big goal and break it down and get it done. Now, of course, yes, sometimes you do need to be flexible and respond to what's happening right in front of you. And your dream, your goal, might have to wait in that moment. But if you always do this, it is at your own expense. And then it will feel and actually be impossible to make changes. The sad thing is, when this happens, I would bet that you blame yourself. Why can't I do this? Something's wrong. Now, here's the truth. Nothing is wrong here. It's just that in trying to reach your goal, you forgot one big step. And that step is to set reminders to keep your goals and the next steps you need to take on the front burner of your mind. Imagine that you're cooking dinner, several things like chicken and vegetables and maybe a salad and maybe a rice dish. Lots of things going on at once, right? If you have a stovetop with 4 burners, your attention and your eyes will tend to go to the 2 front burners more than the 2 back ones. Well, it's the same with your life. We tend to deal with the immediate thing calling our name right in front of us, not what's on the back burner. So to change this, you need to find a way to remind yourself to check in and look at your goals and look at your next steps and figure out when and how you'll actually do those steps. And you need to do this every day. This is not a set it and forget it deal. Once you achieve your goal and you stop overeating, then you will adapt your very identity to one of a woman who just does not overeat. But this doesn't happen right away. So many of you sign up for a weight loss program and you're really excited in the beginning, and yes, that's a good thing. But sometimes it all stops there. Your excitement from signing up isn't enough to get you through a program. You have to actually do the work, take the steps. And before you take the steps, you have to remember to check in and see what those next steps are. So you need to make a plan, a routine, a daily ritual. For example, every morning you could look at your to-do list and make sure some things related to your goal are on that list. Each morning, you could look at your calendar and make some of your goal activities scheduled into your day. You'll need your calendar to figure out exactly when. Don't leave it to chance, but to figure out exactly when in the day or evening you'll do the things you want to do. You'll need some physical reminders, some wake-up calls. A computer reminder system might work if you're at a desk all day long with a desktop or a laptop computer. You could use your phone to beep or vibrate to wake you up from whatever you were doing and cue you to do something else. You can even put a note in your phone reminder so that when the alarm goes off, it can say exactly what you're supposed to do. You can use a digital calendar to tell you it's time to do that thing. So there's lots of different options, right? Remember that everything you've ever done to be on time or remember something for work or for your family can be used in working toward your goal to stop overeating. This is a skill, reminding yourself that I'm sure you already have and you've used in other areas of your life. But if you tend to forget that you're even trying to accomplish something in this arena, then you're not using that skill for yourself, or at least not with your overeating. These alerts and alarms help you remember what you're trying to do and help you stay on track and keep you taking actions. The little action steps themselves might not be so hard, but it's the remembering what to do next that might get lost in the busyness of your life. So let's break this down into simple steps together. Here's how to do it. First, I want you to look at the big picture and decide exactly what you want to do. It also helps to know why you want it. Fleshing out this detail will help you get your motivational juices really flowing. And I want you to envision what it will look like when you get there, when you achieve that goal. And then step 2, we're going to work backwards to get you to take those steps and make it come all together. So we need to get down into details and think about what you need to do and when, exactly when, will you commit to doing it. Remember that you're making this plan for you. No one's telling you when you have to do it. So if you need to, you can always change that. But here's what you're going to look at. What has to happen this month for you to be able to eat well like a natural eater? What food do you need to have in the house? When will you go shopping for it? What cooking or takeout plan do you need in place to make this happen? What's your plan for some gentle movements in your day? Who do you need to ask for help to support you? Put all these little action steps into one big list for the month. First, we're looking at the month. But then I want to help you turn that list into reality, right? The list is not worth doing if it just remains a list. So we're translating ideas to help you reach your goals and turn them into actions. So now's the time after the list to take out your calendar and plot out when things will happen in ink. This is your commitment to you, not if you have the time, not when you get a few hours to yourself, right? How often does that happen? You will make a decision about what you will do and when you will do it. If you do this with me as you do it, you'll notice that your goals and your dreams are becoming more real, are they not? So we've got the big picture of your month. Now we're going to dive a little deeper and take a look at your week, the coming week. So notice we get the big picture first and then we narrow it down. The first thing you need to plan for and take care of in your week is you. You might be thinking about others who need you to care for them. If there are children and older people that you are responsible for, okay, you, of course, have agreed to do that. But you need to be absolutely next before all the other things and all the other people and all the work and all the chores and all the other things. Seriously, you need to be fed and rested and cared for so that you have the energy to care for others and do your work in the world and achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So backing up again, we looked at your goals, we looked at your month, we looked at your week. Now from the week, we're going to narrow down even further and we come down to looking at your day tomorrow. At the end of each day, I want you to look ahead to the tomorrow that's coming up and see what's in store for yourself. Remember, what we're working on now is the habit of having goals and then forgetting all about them. And you're learning how to keep what's most important to you on the front burner of your mind. How will you remember that you plan to cut up some veggies to throw into salads, or have available to cook up a stir fry, or to have as a snack? How will you remember to cook up that batch of rice to use with dinners or lunches or even breakfast? You'll remember if it's on your list, but you're more likely then to remember if it's on your calendar. And you're very likely to remember if you make sure to look at your list and your calendar if you're setting reminders. Set your computer or your kitchen oven clock if you're working from home, or your cell phone alarm to go off and remind you to do the things you need to do to become that version of you that eats, thinks, and loves just like a natural eater who takes care of herself. You would do this for an appointment, and now you are making an appointment with you, for you. What you're doing is giving yourself the absolute best shot at making things happen. Not by accident, not if you have extra time after all those other things are done, and not if you just happen to remember. These are things you will do for yourself on purpose, because you're putting all these things on that front burner, right? And you're figuring out what you need to do to keep them there. Here's what you could do this week to make this lesson a reality in your life. I want you to start by thinking of just one thing that you want to do this week that will help you reach one of your eating goals. One thing. It could be related to how or what or when or how much you eat. It could be about a mood that you frequently get into that leads you to overeat. It could be about something like a tiny piece of self-care that you think about doing but never actually do it. One thing that somehow you rarely or never do because you forget about it, or it keeps getting bumped by things that seem more important in the moment. Something that just keeps going on that back burner of your mind. I want you to put it on your list. Put it in your calendar. Decide what you will do and when you will do it. And then, don't forget, we're all about remembering today. So then you need to decide what kinds of reminders you will set. Do this and then celebrate when you actually do what you said you would do for yourself. I know it seems tiny, and I know you might be tempted to say, big deal, that doesn't make a difference. But you will be one step closer to where you want to be, one step at a time, and you'll be closer to the version of you that you daydream about. So, I walked you through a lesson today and a worksheet. Don't forget to grab your copy of the worksheet so that you could map out your own personal plan to keep your specific goals on the front burner. And the way to get that worksheet is at weightlossmadereal.com/gift. You can also find it right in the show notes to this episode. I hope to see you back here next week, where we will continue to work on your overeating until it becomes something you used to do. We both know that's your ultimate goal. So for now, this is your Coach Cookie, reminding you that as you search for a solution to stop overeating, keep it real, just like you. And I will see you next week.